Guys, welcome to the late night live stream. Some of you guys know, kind of a night owl, I like to work late, and everything's quiet. It's kind of my creative time in the shop when I can work late. And guess what? Delivery is Saturday, so we are knocking it out. Good news is the water tank, all the electrical, the LED lights, everything's wired up, pressure tested, ready to go. So whole water system done. Side panel done, installed. Top panel I'm gonna do right now because to be honest, I don't have time to film, edit, and kind of update you guys. It's just easier to go live when I'm actually doing it live. So we're doing it live. But I just wanted to go over my thoughts while I'm doing this because this is a really, if you want your van to look really nice and custom, and you don't want it so cookie cutter, I do this method right here because it's what I see in my head. It's what I want this to look like. But a side effect of this is if you are doing a van and you don't want to have like a nasty, like a cheap water hookup connection for your really expensive van. It's just random. I have this over on the shelf. I have a lot of stuff in the shop that I bought, and I'm just like, man, that's garbage. But I keep it in the shop in case I want to put it on my personal van. So, but this right here is hot and cold water. You see this in a lot of RVs. Now, if you have one of these or you're doing a DIY, this is not bad. This is completely fine to use. But if you're doing if you do high-end builds like I do, I would never put this in somebody's van. So, what we're putting in this van, you might have seen it. It's the Scandivic valve. It is from Titan Vans DIY sells it, and then they changed their name to Timber DIY Van Kits or Timber Vans. Anyway, that Scandivic valve, it's very nice. It is expensive. This whole little kit over here on the left side is like $350. And then over here you got your Aquar system and your disconnect switch, and this, if you wanted to buy it, the Aquar is almost about $90 for the unit. So maybe this and the plate like $120. So you have some controls here. Without plumbing or anything is costing you about $500, but it fits the style of van that I like to build, and it's durable, it's powder coated. It's gonna stand the test of time, for example, but it's also very minimal. So when we do these two cutouts here, this is gonna be recessed. It's gonna be nice and minimal. We got a waterproof switch. We have our water fill. If we get any drips in here, we can take a rag and just clean it out. It's not going to go on our carpet or upholstery, and it's just neat. It's like I just like the way I like to do it. So what I've done is this panel has been done for a long time. It's what's been covering up the tank at shows and stuff like that. But now it's time to actually go in here and meticulously measure all of this so that we can get these plates put in here. I wait to, not the last minute, but I wait till the end of the whole entire plumbing and everything, because sometimes when you're doing plumbing in your van, something will shift or some valve will be in the way, and even though you plan to run this way and you plan something to come over here, the way it interacts with the 80/20 or the panel, or the way you want to do the run of PEX, it's always kind of moving this to where it wants to go, because once the PEX comes down, this comes out, there's a 90-degree PEX, but I need to make sure that everything kind of lands. And to make this look clean, there's a lot of planning that goes on behind the scenes under here to make everything look nice and clean. So this is actually the easy part. I'm just cutting out 2 holes, popping this in, and then hooking this up together. So, by the end of this video, this whole thing will be done. And then that'll be pretty much it. The thing that we're doing tomorrow with the van is we're going through like some testing trials, I call it. So we've depleted the batteries. We're going to run the second alternator. We're going to double check the solar. We're going to clean the van, wash the van, do all that stuff. Get it prepped for Saturday. But yeah, this is just the stuff I'm doing right now. So other than me rambling on about all this good stuff, let me show you my thought process on how to do this. Get you some examples. So when I build these frames, I love 80-20. I typically do a lot of stuff out of 80-20, but also I do, let me back this camera up just a little bit. All right, so typically I build a lot of stuff with 80-20, and so you can kind of see here where the tape is. This is kind of identifying where that 80-20 is, and it's kind of it's the place I'm not able to go with the cutout. Now there's a lip on here, so you can see I can actually, since this gives a 1/2 inch higher, I can actually come over this just slightly. So that's kind of what's going on. So that's kind of why this tape is taped out the way it is. So once I do that, I go through. The next step is I'm going to take this piece and I start measuring the footprint. So the sunken footprint, which is the widest place it's going to go down into the panel. So that'll inset. And then once I measure that, I'll come through here and I'll just double check. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eighths. So 5 5/8 wide by 3 3/4. And so you just verify that. And so you want to cut out, so this one is, yeah, 3 3/4. Just triple checking my work. Okay. Only downside to using these is you want it to be exact, because if I take this and I bring it here, this radius right here, I don't want to cut it perfect, because if I cut it too close, my hole to actually grab some wood when I bolt it down is going to be gone. I learned that the hard way on another build I did. So what I do to make this radius happen is this radius is at the top of 1/4 1/4. So I'll come in here and I'm going to cut out the fabric first and peel it, the upholstery, and then I'll come back in here 1/4 1/4 and I'll put a little dot. And then I'm using a, what size is this? 33/64, doesn't matter. It can be a 1/2 inch. And then I'm just coming down here on the side and I'm doing a drill. So I'm drilling 4 holes, and the drill bit will actually give me the radius that I want without taking the extra material out. And then I'll do that, and then I'll actually take the jigsaw and then cut this out. But the first thing you want to do is score. You want to score the carpet. So we're just going to score the carpet here. So we want it to actually these have Teflon fibers in this marathon fabric, and if you catch it with a drill or a jigsaw, they're so tough that they'll pull from the whole entire thing. So you just want to, if you can get them cut out, then I would recommend you do that. Now we use a really good adhesive on here, so it's possible that not all this is going to come out cleanly, very clean. But we just want to take our time. We don't want it to fray at all. only want it to be picked up where we are pulling it up. If you guys want some upholstery videos, I have a ton of them on Van Builder HQ, the YouTube channel that you guys are watching now. So just search upholstery and you'll see a bunch of videos come up. So say we've pulled this adhesive off and now we've got this opened up. And then, so I'm gonna come into here and where it was a quarter and a quarter, I'll make a little dot. And then that is pretty much if I can leave that area like that, I just want to match that radius. Doesn't have to be perfect, but like I'll make a little corner there, and then that way I know to keep the drill bit on the inside. And if it doesn't fit, I can just take the jigsaw and I can take some material out. But I'm just gonna visually do this. I got an idea of how much I want to keep in there. So we'll do this one quick, and then we'll keep on going. I'm not sure how loud this is gonna be on the camera. Well, the drill won't be loud. The jigsaw is gonna be loud. And this is a terrible drill bit. Actually, I'm going to try to see if I can use this guy. Now we got one. So yeah, this Forstner bit is actually the tool for the job. my batteries are dead. I've been working on this stuff like crazy. Okay, so we got our jigsaw. We got to keep in mind that we moved this line. I don't know if you can see it here. Let's come on down. So we just drilled that out. This line right here, we had to make an adjustment to our tape marks. The tape marks are perfect over here. This one, I just added a little bit extra. It does make a difference when you're trying to, you try to keep as much material for the screws to bite into. It just makes it a better install. So I'll probably definitely have to modify this corner here. So my gut is telling me that. So let's see here. All right, pretty tight. So the left and right side is okay. I mean the right side, we need to take some more material out of the right side. Very close. You just got to figure out where this thing is grabbing. And believe it or not, we're actually going to use a sanding wheel. Corners. Perfection. All right. So that one's perfect. Now we just got to copy to the other side over here. So this other side, I need to I'm going to stay over here. My measurements, I think I need to go wider to match this. So that's 5 3/4. Actually, this one must have been 5 3/4, and then this one over here is 5. It's more than that. Interesting. Let's do. Okay, so this one we're going to come in to 5 3/4. So this one came out to 5, a 1/16 less than 5 3/4, and this will be 5. It's just gonna be 5 3/4. And this seems like it's OCD, but the thing is, it's these corners. It's you got to have that bite down, and you got to have enough wood. So if I did this, and I take out my marker, I'm just gonna trace these holes. And so you see, if you accidentally cut the jigsaw onto this corner here, all the way to the corner, you're going to blow out your hole that you actually mount these plates on, and it's not going to be good because you're going to have to redo this whole panel, and that's just a bunch of wasted time. I know it's late, guys, but I mean, if you want to ask questions, you can free to ask away. All right, we got our width. Double check our height, 5 3/4. I mean 3 3/4, 3 3/4. All right, good to go. So now we'll do our same technique. Find my razor. Forget, guys, the Blueprint van conversion course that I'm designing is launching October 1st. But if you pre-order, so if you buy the course today, there's a savings. You can save $50 off the course, or if it's $100. I should have double checked that. I think it's $100 off. Okay, again, this is that special, super tough marathon fabric, so we need to make sure that we really have a nice clean cut, so this does not catch and fray. And we cut this out with the jigsaw. Come in here, just get some visual identification marks for our Forstner bit. Actually got some people watching. That's pretty nice. And for you guys just joining, I'm pretty much recording this because we got a delivery this weekend and don't really have time to film. So I'm just going live. Look at that. Like a glove. First time. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so mental note. I want to make sure that the spacing here measured this earlier. I just want to verify. So 2.5 inches, or 2 1/4. I guess I moved it over a little bit. 1 inch spacing. 1 3/4 inches on this side. That's perfect. All right, so you guys get to see this live, which is pretty nice. We got all these cut out. We're just gonna come through and just do a little bit of cleanup on our stuff underneath. Not too much. We just don't want anything flapping down or hanging down. So right here, everything is good to go. I'm going to take this and I'm going to, I'll bring you guys over to the van in a second. But we will put this panel in. The next thing is we had this shift over about 1/8 inch. So I have not drilled the holes in this top to bolt it to the 80/20. Because I need to find out what my overhang is, and then I'm going to measure that offset. So what I'm talking about is this overhang is going to be over like probably 1/8 inch like that, and I just want to double check the hole, because the hole placement on the panel, there's going to be 6 holes that bolt this down. They have to be perfect. That's just going to take a little bit of time, but yeah, that's my goal tonight. Is just this was the last thing to get knocked off the list before what I have to do tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna take this over to the van and then I'm gonna move the camera if you guys want to stay with me a minute. forget about you. I just need to set that up over here. Got 3 people still on the stream. Who's ha! Yeah, I can't play any Jeopardy music. Sorry guys, you're at the mercy of no editing. This is just all live. All right, back in the back of the van. Here we are. Everything is looking good. Like I said, we got the side panel in. So what we're doing right now is we're just neatening everything back up. The reason it took me a minute is I goofed a little bit and the lines were pressurized right back here when I was... The pump's off. It's just there was still residual pressure because I was pressure testing the system. So it's been pressurized all day. No leaks. Looking great. The interesting thing about this design, I always try to keep things compact and like pushed to the side so you have as much storage space in the van. So for this one, the little quirk was all the lines coming to the back had to be ran on the top. So this right here, this piece of aluminum, believe it or not, this is actually the blue LEDs that make the tank glow. And then there's a panel that I'll finish tomorrow. It's this one right here. And so this panel, what we're going to do is we're going to cut, we're essentially going to reupholster this, but this goes into here. We're going to cut a hole, an oval, so it'll be from here all the way down here. So down here, if you guys can see, that is a riv nutting camera views. Riv nutting camera views. That's hilarious. You guys are funny. This is pretty cool. This is an adjustable piece of 80/20 that keeps pressure on the back of the tank so that it doesn't move back and forth. So I have one here, and then I have one in front of the hot water tank pushing it this way. And so what that does is that's just going to keep it in place. And then obviously, it's got a lid. But yeah, so from here up to right below these is where that little window is going to be. Then when we turn the power on to the pump, you'll have a standby switch. So when the pump is on, this will glow blue. And when the pump is off, the light will turn off. All right, so this is what we're trying to figure out how well we did. So this is where I get to grade myself on the fitment here. Okay, so that's looking good. So now we have these 2 openings. We got clearance. We got everything here looks good. I'm gonna keep this covered. Got some drips. All right, the first thing, this is that Titan Vans part that we were talking about earlier. Why is that so? My camera's like foggy. All right, let's try that. There we go. Good question. I do not thread lock the 80/20 joints. When you're building a van, and then in the future, if you need to disassemble stuff, the problem with all the stainless steel hardware is sometimes it's kind of soft. And I found that if I Loctite it, I end up stripping the heads of these bolts off. The lock washers on here, we have stainless steel hardware into aluminum. And the lock washer, believe it or not, cuts into the aluminum, and it makes it almost impossible to get out with no Loctite. So as long as you torque this down appropriately, these are not coming out. Thomas van was done like this. I think I have like a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 things in John and Susan's van that has a bracket like this. Brian and Robin's, theirs is like this. And I wouldn't do this if I didn't trust it to not be loose. But Thomas's van is doing great. It's almost, man, I think it's almost coming up on 2.5 years or 3 years on his. So that's pretty wild. But yeah, his is doing just fine. But you don't have to Loctite it. I would not, because if you need to get in here, replace the tank, or do anything, you're going to shear off that aluminum head. It's just right there. I'm telling you, just be careful. I found no reason to Loctite it. Now, there is other things in this van that I Loctite because I'm never going back, and they're not meant to be taken back apart. This needs to be able to be taken apart in case you need to replace a tank or the hot water heater. So, yeah, long story short, no Loctite on these joints. All right, so this goes right down in here. Okay, it's fitting excellent. Let's see here, what am I? All right, I think I got to come over an 1/8 of an inch on this one. Believe it or not, it's so precise that this little washer here is just grabbing just ever so slightly. So I bet if I turn it this way, yeah, just that washer on the side. All right, we'll take care of that. Let's get our other piece. Cool, Minnesota, nice. Is that Minnesota or, yeah, Minnesota? Transit Connect purchase, middle of next week, still deciding on direction, take out the build. Yeah, Transit Connect, those things are fun. I used to have a DJ business, or wedding DJ business, in Charleston, South Carolina for a long time. And I always thought about getting a Transit Connect because it was really easy to get in and out of the venue. You know, you could load up all the DJ equipment. It was fun. All right, so this is going to go here. That one, man, that fits so good. So that one's great. That one's almost snapped in like a glove. Where is my valve? I gotta take that out. This is another quirk. I can't change. This is why you have to do this stuff like at the end. I can't change where this actually seated and finished getting tight on here. So this is now affecting where my placement at the top of this is. So my OCD wants me to have the name facing this way, but you know, I have to have this 90 directly this way because I don't have any room. So that's going to go just like that. So you see these two pieces here, they're looking great. This one is that one's just being a little annoying because, yeah, it's just that, it's just an eighth of an inch, man. Everything's an eighth of an inch. So, okay. So this one looks good. This one looks good. Got our switch over here, water fill. This is our shower wand, so that'll actually go in there. Nice. So just curious, making sure that it's the lip and not the plate. Yeah, oh yeah, it's that washer. Okay. Nice. How did you decide which side to put the water in? So it just happens that water tank on the right side of the van is a good idea, because if the water tank is on the right side of the van, your right door of your van usually opens first without having to open the latch at the left side. So you can open one door without opening two doors to access the water. Second, the power system on a Ford Transit, you're typically coming from the driver's seat, even with a Sprinter. You're on the driver's side, and the driver's side is where usually the main power comes through, and it can just make its way all the way to the back on the left side, and you don't have to do a crossover. And then typical van layouts, a lot of people really like the kitchen galley to be on the door side, so that when you're washing your hands, cooking, doing whatever, you're able to look out the door and it doesn't feel so, claustrophobic. Yeah, so this van has 420 watts of solar. It's got two 100 watt Renogy panels, and then it also has one 140 watt new power. It sounds weird when I say it, but that's just the name of it. It's not an Amazon brand, but it's like a Chinese brand panel, but it has to do with the dimensions. The dimensions of that 140 watt panel is exactly the amount of room that I had left. This also has a Dometic RTX 2000 AC unit, got the max fan. And then over here on the power side, this is the solar disconnect switches, main power, ventilation, stuff like that. The van has 600 amp hours of smart lithium from Renogy. And I don't think there's anything bad about Renogy, just to be honest, if anybody's wondering. There's Victron components in here. The main system is the new Renogy Rego system. That's their off-grid system, so everything's Bluetooth controlled via the M1 controller, which is kind of like the Victron Connect, but I don't know. I like the low profileness of it. What else? So if you go to, my business is odysseycustomvans.com. So odysseycustomvans.com is my business for my customers. Van Builder HQ is the channel you're watching right now. This is the educational channel. So you're watching me, Odyssey Custom Vans, build a customer build, and then I use the YouTube channel to it's like a teaching tool. You guys can watch what's going on. So this So if you go to odysseycustomvans.com and you go to Thomas's build, which is called Marine One, or actually, if you go to Marine One Van Tour and on this channel, you'll find that he has a Red Arc Red Vision system, and the Red Arc Red Vision system is it Bluetooth controls every switch in his van. So he's got the Red Arc Red Vision system, which is 10 Bluetooth connections, and then he also has the Garmin Power Switch that brings an additional 6 Bluetooth controllable connections. So 16 circuits in his van. All the circuits are controlled via his phone. So he's a disabled military veteran, and so he has a wheelchair and a lift that brings him into the van. And we wanted to make sure that it was just super easy, that if he forgot to turn the lights off or anything in the van, he can do everything from his phone. If he's out of the van, he can control it. If he's in the van, he can control it, before he goes to bed, that type of thing. And so you can go all the way Bluetooth if you want to. Or this van I just made before the current owners purchased this van. My intent was to make this very rugged off-road, just super, super strong, 80/20 all the way. And but I wanted it to be very simple because I actually didn't know who the owner would end up being. I didn't want to make we went way complex with Thomas's van and super high tech. But this van, since I didn't know the customer that was eventually going to purchase it, I went really clean and simple so that any age range would be able to feel comfortable in this van. Believe it or not, this van has 3 switches that control the interior lights, the indirect lighting, the exterior light. So there's a 3 switch panel up on the top here. So right there. There's 1 switch to turn on the inverter that turns on pretty much everything in the van. AC power wise, there's a Bluetooth controlled Webasto 3.0 smart temp gasoline fired heater. In the back, we've just got a simple light switch for the power box. We've got a simple on-off switch for the water. And then tomorrow I'm going to finish the wiring up to a 1-switch water heater on and off. So straight, just very simple. And less complicated makes things just a lot better when you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's less things to break, that sort of thing. We do have a bunch of redundancy in this van, so we have we have dual DC to DC chargers. We've got dual solar MPPT solar charge controllers. All the electronics in this van are Blue Sea systems, Victron, Lynx distributor, Victron, battery shunt. Yeah, I'm really proud of this van. I'm gonna be sad to see it go because I've worked on it so long. But that's how any build is. You come down to the wire, and there's just pretty much one day of me having fun and testing the van out, and then it's off to its new home. But yeah, this is a pretty nice build here. So this guy, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to get off here in just a little bit. But yeah, this was my goal tonight before leaving the shop. And yep, I was going to leave right at midnight. So, and we'll be right back here tomorrow. So the next things to do here is to, yeah, just make sure that we get all the stuff dialed in and tightened up here. So, yeah, it's looking good. Any other questions? I think that's about it tonight. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Van Builder HQ YouTube channel. VanBuilderHQ.com is going to have a free DIY Van Build cheat sheet that is basically the last 3 years of all my Amazon purchases delivered to the shop, and it is free. So you can download it free, VanBuilderHQ.com. The website also has the blueprint camper van conversion course that I designed to help you guys build your own DIY camper van. That is on sale. It will launch October 1st, but if you pre-order it or you buy it today, you're going to have a nice discount before it launches. And then the website itself, vanbuilderhq.com, it has tons of blog post articles. It's basically all my building brain thoughts, all the interviews we've done with van builders, shows we've gone to, all that content's on the website. And then if you ever give up building your own DIY van, you can come to me, Odyssey Custom Vans. We're located in Hickory, North Carolina, and I'd be happy to build your custom adventure van for you. We also do installs and repairs. So for example, we got a customer coming in. We didn't build their van, but they're having some AC issues, and so we had a new unit shipped to the shop, and then they're going to come by and I'm going to do like a warranty replacement for them. And so that's going to be exciting. So we'll cover that, answer any questions about AC installs. So we've done Nomadic RTX 2000. We've done a Nomadic Cooling X2, which is the brand new 48 volt unit. And then this third one is the Nomadic Cooling X3 12 volt rooftop unit. That's the one that's going to be replaced on this customer's, or this van that's bringing in. It's awesome. I'm excited to see the van. It's from another builder that I really like their build, so I'm thankful that it's coming in the shop, and you know, got some praise to be able to bring it in here and take care of it for him. I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah, this channel is just about taking you guys through the process, helping out when I can, if answering your questions. But yeah, we will be back tomorrow, live streaming, back here in the shop, and we'll wrap this whole entire back of the van up. We'll clean it up, do a little bit more cable management up front, and that's pretty much it. Delivery is Saturday around lunchtime, so I'm gonna knock everything out tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the